Okay, and so this is our August meetup for with 4PetTalks, right, for animal communication. And our topic for today is talking about energy modalities for your pets. And as always, the topic is way larger than we're going to be able to get into any details. But the idea is that we're going to plant some seeds and maybe learn a little bit, right? And hopefully, what you come out with are um, some modalities that you can practice on your own without, you don't have to go get a certification or get a lot of time, or energy or whatever spent on it, but something that you can apply. So anyway, that's the goal of it. All right. And so we'll get started. Can everybody see the slides okay?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So, and then I just have to say, so I have our oldest of our four dogs had to have surgery today. And what started with having a tooth removal turned out to we should take out this cyst or growth.
Mm.
And he has an incision that is this long on his side. I am not kidding you. It's from like so he's in my room with me to keep him from having to interact with the other dogs and all those curious things that happen. So if you happen to hear him whimper a little bit or what have you, he's just not comfortable right now. Um, However, I talked with him in detail before he went into surgery about his tooth being missing and that he was going to be uncomfortable and pain when he came out, and that we would have medications to help and those things. And still, we ended up with having to take out, more. And so explaining to him that sometimes when they go in, they want to take care of other things that we didn't necessarily expect. And anyway, so
Mm.
so if you happen to hear him whimper a little bit, yeah, in the background, thanks for your patience with that. Yeah. Um, okay, here we go. So and for any of you that I haven't talked with before, so I'm Marla Santino, and my focus is really on being the voice for the pet. And so helping those pets and their humans with getting the information, the answers, right, that they need to improve their lives. The expectations for our meetup is that this is really a safe space for everyone. And so we all have, we all come from different backgrounds, different belief systems, some that we might have grown up with, some that we stepped away from that we grew up with and have a different one now. And they're all, right, they all inhabit us in one way or the other. So this is really a safe space for everybody. Nothing is, it's funny, I'll say, to somebody, I had the weirdest thing happen and they look at me like, really? So anyway, so yeah, no judge zone, right? Everybody's coming here with a different need, expectation, coming from a different place on their own journey. And so we just support that and love that. And then if you want to share something, and you're welcome to raise your hand. You can use the chat session, other than I think trying to interrupt, because it doesn't always, you can't always interrupt me. so if you know how to use the hand gesture, or certainly using the chat is a great way to start that. All right, so we're gonna be talking today again about those energy modalities. We're gonna talk about why energy work. And then I was like, and why does energy work? So, and then we're going to talk about discovering those different modalities. And then we're going to do a practice session. So we have a horse, Zane, that we'll talk with. That's Wendy's. We also have a bird. His name is Babe. We're going to have a conversation with him. And then I know that I got one or two others this afternoon. So I'll look to see if we can add those in as well, because that's the fun part of all this, right? Is to get those little messages in. Okay. So why energy work is helpful, or, where you can help use energy work. So certainly if you have health concerns, I've, in my experience, whether you're doing body work or other kinds of modalities that we're going to talk about, the different categories of those modalities, in my experience, they always help. And with the right intentions, they don't hurt ever, right? So if it's a health concern and you're thinking, well, I need to have the vet out or go to the vet, or they have an upset stomach, I'm not really sure where this looks like. You can practice some of these pieces, and just with the intention and the idea that you've just even been exposed to it is going to help. All right. Emotional and behavioral challenges. So I put those together because oftentimes behavioral challenges have to do with emotional aspects for a pet. So they have some sort of emotional disruption that they're, that they're not meeting or is not being met. And so having the ability to address those in some modality is very helpful. Of course, if you've got an end of life transition, for both you and the pet, supporting a life change. So if you're moving, if you have people moving in with you, if you have people moving out, pets that have left, pets that are coming, right? Any of those life changes, being able to recognize the shift in energy that occurs and helping to reset that and recognize it is certainly a great help. And then preparing for a stressful situation before and after. So if you're helping them to heal, like, we will be with Caesar here. In addition to his vet's help with medications, we'll be doing other work with him as well, just so that he can, just get a little extra boost, right? All right, so what to look for in a modality? All right, they all have value. But you just really need to know that you're going to pick one that matches with your belief system. If you don't believe that it's making a difference and that it's going to be heading to your pet in the right, with the right intention, then it's not the right modality to work with. And there's so many. And we're going to talk about places where you can look to get even more details. So don't feel like if Reiki, where a lot of people study Reiki, practice Reiki, but maybe don't feel like it works on pets, right? If you don't feel like that, don't go down the Reiki path, right? There's many others on this list, and I'll share some of my own experiences with them as well. Is it accessible? So is this something that you can look up on YouTube and get some guidance for some simple ways to do it, right? Can you, get a book or two? Like, what does that research look like? And then also the cost and the timing, right? So how expensive is it? There's certainly ones out there that like use special machines and have special techniques that, again, if it's part of the belief system that you feel it's worth that effort, and that will hit the right frequency to help your pet, then go for it. But don't feel like you have to have anything special in order to help working with any of these energy sources, whether it be body work or otherwise. And then also, work with your pet to make sure that they're open and accepting to the same service as well. So what I've heard from people and about Reiki, for example, is, my pet just did not seem like he really or she really was open to and accepting Reiki. Now, I think I hear that for a couple of reasons. One is that it's probably one of the most popular energy services. And so, 9 times out of 10, that's something somebody's tried. And so you're going to have an increased percentage of people saying, well, it didn't really work for my pet. And then the other is that if the person that was applying Reiki was trained on how to do humans, that's a different approach than way you would do it to a pet. Does that make sense? Right. So those are some of the sort of reasons that your pet may or may not be open to that service. All right. So what can you do to help before a session and during a session, right? So let's say you have a practitioner that you're hiring to come in and do some work with your pet. It's still important that you do the work where you can take a deep breath, center yourself, raise your vibration. Mute that. Tell them what you and the practitioner would like to do and why. Remember, you've got to share as much of the details as you can, right? We're doing this because because you are struggling with the challenge of, having anxiety when people come into the house, and we want to understand ways that we can better serve you and help you, get past that, for example. So share as much of that information as possible. Some of you have probably heard the stories that I've had where I've communicated with a pet that said, hey, I just don't trust my person right now. And it was like, what happened? And in one case, they'd gone to the vet. The person was like, it's going to be okay. Don't worry. They're going to take care of you. And the pet came out of anesthesia, right? Missing teeth or with, right? Having some surgery done, where, giving them the details would have created more trust. We as humans are very complex beings in their mind. We often will say something different than what we show outwardly, or we're showing outwardly something that different than what we're feeling inside, and they know the difference. So anything you can do to be honest with them in detail makes a big difference. Of course, tell them how much you love and appreciate them, and thank them for having the conversation with you, right? Because they're trusting you in doing that, and allowing you to have that time. So thank them for that. Okay, so options. As I started to put these down, I realized there's categories, because I was like, well, maybe I should put these in columns, and then maybe I should put these in like 10-point text, right? Because there's so many. And then I thought, I'm just going to put down some of these that are that you might be familiar with, some that you might not be familiar with, but then some do's and don'ts to go along with them as well, things to be cautious about. So the 3 categories I picked here, there's a couple others as well, but I think these are the 3 categories that are the most prominent when we talk about energy modalities. So first off is body work, or those hands-on techniques. And that comes from, you've got acupressure, acupuncture, both coming from a Chinese medicine side. One uses needles, the other doesn't, right? But both of them, you need to have a trained, certified professional that applies both of those scenarios. There's massage, but there's also the myofascial release. I have not yet done myofascial on my pets, but I have an appointment on Thursday for one of my dogs. And so I can't wait to report back on how that goes. I did do an animal communication with a pet that this practitioner had worked on, and had really great feedback and information where from that work, the pet better understood where they were emotionally blocked, and were able to share what they wanted to see different and what they wanted more work to be done. So I thought that was phenomenal, and I was really excited about it. So I'm excited to report back on how this works for my own. There's water therapy and physical therapy. Yeah, that's an energy modality that helps move energy through the body. And it also creates a mental state. It adds euphoria. You get that, your pet gets that feeling of a capability and ability to do things that they may not have been able to do before, right? Stretches them out of that comfort zone, particularly if they are trying to rehab from something. So, or maybe they're getting up in age and getting out of that pain. Example in water therapy, right, is huge. Of course, chiropractor, everybody's familiar with chiropractic work on both people and on animals. Again, goes back to your belief system. If you believe that like working with a chiropractor is something you're comfortable with and you feel like it could make a difference, then that's a good modality for you to look at. One that you may not have heard of, I'm just going to ask you guys to raise your hands if you've heard of T-Touch. So Wendy has, okay. So T-Touch was developed by a lady named Linda Tellington Jones. Had to have been over 30 years ago. And what I like about T-Touch is that it is a very simple practice that you could watch a YouTube video. She's got a book right here. Well, let me see if I can get my camera in the right way. Here we go. Getting in T-Touch with your dog. And this book page, let's see, 25, you're already practicing T-Touches. Okay, little background ahead of that, a little checklist for your pet and yourself, and then you're in doing it. And that's what I love about this. So you don't have to, again, study, get a certification with the right intention and getting and being aware of the feedback that you receive from your pet through that process. T-Touch is amazing. And I've seen it applied on dogs, cats, and horses. That's actually where I learned it, was with horses. And, great thing about pets is that unlike people, they either like things or they don't like them. It's a yes or a no. It's black and white, on, off, IO, whatever you want to call it, where people are like, oh, that was pretty good. You know how pets are. It's either they liked it or they didn't. I've had good success with T-Touch. So big suggestion for that. There's also several energy healing techniques. Okay. So there's EFT tapping, or emotional freedom technique. Has anybody heard of EFT tapping before? Okay. Have you heard of doing that on pets before? Just on people, right? Okay. So for me, EFT is a great technique for the human to use on themselves when I'm working with a pet that's trying to work through a situation, and both the human and the pet are kind of caught up in something that's stressful. So but for me, I have not had success doing EFT tapping on a pet. I think in my own belief system that they don't like to be touched in certain parts of their faces that way. They wouldn't like the tapping. And so for me, it doesn't work. For other people, success, right? For me, it's not a technique. It's not a modality that I would go towards. I talked a little bit about Reiki. I'm a level 2 Reiki practitioner and studying now for master. And I've used a little bit of Reiki along with massage and prana to help with the energy technique. But for me, again, doing Reiki the way that I was trained on humans is not accepted by pets in the same way. So when you think about doing Reiki and you're studying and you're thinking, okay, I want to do that one, I highly encourage you to take time to understand how to apply Reiki to pets, and then see what your success rate's like if you're going to put that with a pet. Otherwise, I think that the Reiki energy is so high a vibration or so large a vibration, and animals are so sensitive compared to humans that it's like the loudspeaker and they need us to tone it down, right? That's my experience. And then there's prana. So prana or pranic healing is an energy modality that's kind of similar to Reiki. However, they take time to clear energy before regenerating that chakra and that energy space. I have had great experiences with prana. So I had a horse that just had a leg issue, I guess about a month ago here on my farm. And we were having the vet come out the next day and gave him some bute and things to help. But I also took some time and did some prana. And the next day, you could tell that he was just a little bit more comfortable. The symptoms were still there. The leg looked the same, but he just seemed like he was a little bit more supported for just that time period that we needed for when the vet could come out and do a full treatment. So that's just one example of the prana. I could give you a ton of them. I am having an in-person workshop for dogs. We're doing animal communication and prana with the gal that I've worked with, Lisa Burney. I've known Lisa now for, I think it's 20 years. And she also is great at having you walk away with an understanding of how to practice this on your pet. You don't have to hire her out for 6 sessions for an hour each or whatever, right? You can get started with it. And of course she can go way, I mean, she's phenomenal and can go way deeper, but at least you have a tool in your toolbox that you can use in the interim when you have something that you need right away, or just kind of a regular tuning. All right. Vibrational medicines. So vibrational medicines include essential oils, herbs, and then crystals and gemstones. So essential oils. You could go, again, you could have a long list of those essential oils of what you should use, how you should use it, things like that. Really critical about essential oils. You need to know what you're working with and how to work with it when you're working with pets. They can be, you might be doing a infusion in your home of an essential oil, and if it's the wrong one, it can be hard on their lungs, right? Could be kind of poisonous to them. There are certain essential oils that you cannot apply to their bodies, anywhere on their bodies. But then there's some that they can digest, right? And ingest. I guess I want to say ingest. So just really do your research. Make sure that you know what you're doing before you start to work with essential oils. And then also give your pet the opportunity to choose. I have many times had a couple of essential oils, one in each hand, because both can do the trick, but I don't know which one that the animal prefers. And I've had dogs. I don't know if a cat's done this for me yet, because they're a different mindset, but a horse too. I've had horses that will pick it. I'll put it behind my back, kind of switch it around, put it back out again, and they'll pick the same one from a different hand, put it into my pocket, and they pick it out of my pocket. So they know how to choose which one. But again, I did a lot of research ahead of time to know that it was going to be okay to use that oil. Herbs are the same way. There are so many plants that we know we can use that are big benefit for both humans and for pets. But you really need to do your research. You've got to make sure that you're using the right plant. For me, like tansy right now. Tansy is on my mind because we're out pulling it all the time. Tansy looks a lot like St. John's wort. Now, to the educated eye, they're like, oh no, it's completely different because blah, 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 right? But to me, to the educated eye or an uneducated eye, I'm like, it's yellow with lots of little flowers on top and I'm pulling it out. right? So, but that could be vice versa. If you knew St. John's wort but didn't know about tansy, right? That could be a problem. So understanding what those herbs are that work and don't work. Crystals and gemstones. So for any of you guys who have been on any of these talks in the past, I always share crystals or gemstones, stones that help support in this whatever effort that we're talking about. I actually bypassed that today because I do want to do these sessions and we had a lot to cover. So, and plus I was like, how am I even going to pick a crystal or gemstone for like all these modalities? So, when we are on a more specific topic, next month, we're going to be talking about working with those reactive pets, right? When we're talking about working with a reactive pet, we can talk about crystals and gemstones that you can use to help to support in that effort for both you as the human and the pet. So that'll be part of the topic again next month. But it does not take much at all to research your crystals and gemstones. You can Google them, right? And say, you know, what crystal would be good for X, right? And they'll give you some suggestions. And as always, I say, you do not have to go to your local metaphysical store and spend 20, 50, 100 on the largest stone, right? You can go look for those rock shops that are in those, kind of different areas. Ask them, they'll have them for you, and they'll be a lot less expensive. And then always make sure you clean your crystals with, either moonlight, salt water, if that's appropriate for the kind of crystal or gemstone that you're using. Whatever that might look like to cleanse it, so that when you use it, you know that it's kind of got just your intention attached to it. Okay, so, and then before I go on, I just want to share two other books with you. So one is by Joan Ranquet. She has got a lot of great information. She does a lot with scalar wave and then EFT. But she also does a nice job in this particular book going into different modalities and how they might help. And then there's also this one as well, Natural Healing. This one's for dogs. And also goes into some medicinal sort of scientific backgrounds as well. And then, of course, these books, I go on, I don't know if you guys know of thrift books, but I go on thrift books to look for my books. And it always works out that I can get the books at a lower rate. So I don't blow my budget. So any questions about what we covered? Did anybody have any experience with any of those modalities that we mentioned that you want to share was, good, bad, or indifferent? No? Okay. So before we go into meditation and then chatting with our pets, I have a very busy schedule. This is just September, you guys. Well, I guess one day in August too, but it's like, wow, I'm so excited. So, of course, for this session, donations are always appreciated. You can Venmo me or PayPal, and you'll see a picture of me in Venmo. It's with me and my horse. So upcoming events. So I've got that in-person animal communication and prana energy workshop. We're going to cover animal communication first to then apply the prana and then be able to get feedback from the pets while we're doing the prana. So I'm really excited about that and looking forward to doing that work with Lisa. And then I'm going to be at the Oregon Dressage Championships, September 6th, 7th, and 8th there in Sherwood, Oregon. I'll have a booth there. And then on September 14th, the Home Spiritual Center in Salem, Oregon is having a metaphysical fair. And it's super affordable. You have lots of local people that are going to be there. And so great event. And then my online events on the 24th, we'll have our next meetup. I'm going to be talking about working with reactive pets because, of course, on the 28th, we're going to be doing this prana workshop online so that people can be working with their dogs in a safe environment where everybody is comfortable. Making a reactive dog come out to a workshop is like telling the, introvert that they need to go to the social. Not fun. Yeah. Okay. Any questions or thoughts? All right. So, who here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk us through a quick meditation. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to introduce you to Zane. And I think it's helpful to have a pet in mind when we do this meditation, just so that you can maybe be open to that. How many of you have tried to do animal communication before? Yeah. Wendy's got some practices. Is this new to you guys? Debbie and Jennifer, new to you? Okay. So we're going to go through this meditation really to get grounded and then to open up our heart chakra to just show that love and that honesty and that that intention of being the pet's voice so that we can help to understand if there's any information or messages that he'd like to share. We have two boys. That's interesting. So the Zane and then Babe is also a boy bird. For the two that are kind of just starting with this, so Wendy's heard this before. Don't disregard any of the information that comes to you. Be open to it. Thank it for coming. Even jot it down if you'd like. And then ask, is there anything more that you'd like to share? Because I will tell you 10 times out of 10, we come out of this, we start to share information we got. And then people that are new to this or maybe never done this before said, oh my gosh, I got that information too, but I thought that basically my ego was just telling me or making it up or, of course, that pet liked that because doesn't everybody? And so just accept everything that comes in, thank it for coming, ask if there's anything else that they would like to share. And even say, I'm new to this and how am I doing? Right. And see what they have to say about that. So be open to that. The other thing too is that some people think that pets can communicate with lots of people at the same time. For me, I always envision them standing like I am here in front of a group, and then somebody asks a question and I'm answering that person. You might overhear some things that are being told to somebody else. They might blend into kind of information you get. But it feels more to me like they connect with each person individually versus sort of a big group, I don't know, discussion. So just be aware of that as well. So if it feels like he's not really there with you yet, just even say, hey, Zane, I would like to know too, is there anything more you'd like to share about that? And again, just so I know, like, I'm new to this, anything that you want to share. Okay. So be gentle on yourselves. Okay. So let's just put our feet on the floor, get yourself into a comfortable space. And just like what we're going to do anytime that we're talking or working with our pets, We're going to take a moment and we're going to make sure that we're getting centered and grounded. And so by doing that, we're just going to take a couple of deep breaths. And this is going to let our body know that we're getting ready to raise our vibration. It's letting our ego know that it can step aside, that our body can take care of its own needs for now, and that we're looking to just connect with the Mother Earth energy and allow for that pure energy to come up through our feet and into our body. And as we're breathing and we're allowing that energy to come up into our body, and we bring that up into our heart space, where it can fill that area with that loving, nurturing, such pure, mothering energy. And as we feel our heart space and that love, enveloping us and our spirit and our own energy field, we start to recognize what I call Father Sky and that galactic energy, that atmospheric and space energy that enables us to raise our vibration and enables us to go up into that space where we know the highly intelligent and highly evolved meet. And we can bring that energy into that heart space and let it mix with that love from Mother Earth and that grounding energy. And then we just ask that that blended energy start to expand from our heart. And it can come, from the front of your chest, out through your back, any place that you recognize where your heart resides. And we open up that space to let those pets that we're going to communicate with know that we're here with our highest and healthiest guides and guardians and angels to share their message and be their voice for that pet. And to start with, because I think we've got a few, and so to start with, we're just going to ask Zane if we can talk with him and check in to see how things are doing. It sounds like they've had, he and his person have had a really eventful summer, taking advantage of these warm, clear, dry days. And so we'll just ask Zane what he thinks about this time away from home with his person. Are there things that he likes about that? Are there things that he misses from being at home, or things that Wendy might be able to do for him in his new space? Just ask Zane if there's any information that he'd like to share? Any messages that he wants to share with Wendy? Mhm. Okay. So when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Finish whatever thoughts or conversation you might be having with Zane. Okay. When you're ready, you can let your eyes flutter open. Right. So I'm gonna go, so I can go ahead and share what so I'm gonna go ahead and share what I got from Zane, and then would love to hear if you guys caught anything from him as well. All right. Sound like a plan? Yeah. Okay. So first off, I did something with this photo that I have not done before. I never do. Which was I had to adjust the photo in order for it to come through in a way that you guys could see him clearly. But when I first saw the photo of Zane, it was very shadowed and like, okay, don't look at me. And I was like, why, Zane? Why can't I look at you? And he was like, he was embarrassed about something. So Wendy, if you want to go ahead and get off mute and let me know, was there anything that happened that he was embarrassed about?
Well, this is our third camping trip. And the one thing that I can think of is he did really well when some hikers came on the same path coming towards us.
Okay.
And I had asked them to get off the trail. They did. And I asked him to talk to Zane. And he was a little nervous. And what happened was the man walked towards Zane. Zane kind of reacted, and I was holding on to his neck, and I said, I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to fall. But that's what I used to do with Raven, and Zane's neck is larger than, I'm sorry, Raven's, and I fell off. He took
Okay.
off. He took off, but he didn't go too far. And we had a little hard time getting him settled so I could get back on. That's the
That's
only thing that I
exactly
can
what
think.
happened. That is exactly what happened. So I should have written down, like, I think she came off.
Yeah.
but, but you know, he was like, I'm embarrassed. And I was like, okay, what do you, and of course, in this session, I couldn't get into what you're embarrassed about. So I figured we'd clarify. So yes, he was embarrassed by that. He was like, I can't believe I did that. So, yeah, so he was embarrassed. Um, I think afterwards he was like, well, that was silly. I didn't need to be afraid of that. But,
Mhm.
um, but when you're on the trail, and that's right, Zane, when you're on the trail, like, a bird can move, or, you have to go by anthills sometimes, or things smell different. And so they'll have those moments where they're looking at that. But then, you put two or three of those things happening at the same moment, and that can be unnerving, especially if they're not used to it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay. You're
Yeah.
okay, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. The
And
man helped me back on, and he said that I did a graceful fall.
good. So
Oh,
Zane was,
Lordy.
yeah, so he was so embarrassed by that. And I think you probably saw that in him after, right? He was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Yeah. So,
Well, and I've told him that I'll never let him anything happen to him.
yeah.
So I think that helped too. No, I will never do anything or let anything happen to him.
Yeah. Get in a
So,
situation, right. We won't get in a situation where anything's
mhm,
going to happen to you. And, and it's hard because you can't guarantee that because, things can happen that are out of everybody's control.
yeah, that's true.
Um,
That's true.
right. And so, he's like, so you can't guarantee that. So,
That's true.
because things happen that are out of your control, and that is true. And however,
I'll do my best.
right. Wendy would do her best. Um, and instead of sort of reacting, what you can do, Zane, is sort of stop where you are and then see if Wendy says, go, move,
Okay.
right? Then, because if you do, let's say if for some reason slide on a trail somehow and he gets nervous, he needs to just stop and ask you, because you're the one, Wendy, who's going to know, like, we need to go
Mhm,
forward, we need to halt, we need to go, whatever that looks like. So just stop for a minute, Zane, check in with Wendy. She'll tell you what you need to do next.
mhm. That's
Yeah.
funny because we just got back from Clackamas. No, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess it was Clackamas. And they had built a new bridge. And I first thought, oh God, how is he going to react? But then I went, oh no, he's going to be fine. And he was. And we got all the way to the end to go down, and he slipped and he almost landed on his rump. And he just jumped right up. I knew he wanted to get out of that area, so we walked off that area. And the horse behind us did the same thing. She slipped. She didn't get down. So he was good. He was listening. He was good.
So that must be why he was like, you can't guarantee in every situation and you can slide off a trail. So that's an interesting, like,
Yeah,
so interesting. So so he's getting a lot of experience that way. So
yeah,
I'm glad that he took care of you. Yeah.
yeah. He
Um,
did. He did.
I heard a few other things, but before I do that, I wanted to ask Debbie or Jennifer, did either of you guys um capture any information that you'd like to share?
The only thing that I picked up was that something was wrong with one of his front knees.
His right front. His right front? Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I picked up. He said hello, but the only thing I really picked up was something was wrong with one of them. So
With the front leg. Yeah.
Mm.
He's a little sore. You guys just got back, Wendy?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's sore on his right front.
Okay. Right
Yeah.
front. Did she say knee? Right front knee or just leg?
I picked up that it was knee, but that's,
Okay.
I'm not real familiar with horses per se. He just kind of looked down at his leg and I picked up that it was.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you. You don't have to be used to horses.
No.
So beautiful, but so.
Thank you. I wrote it down.
Good.
Yeah, no, I can't say that anything came through. This is like just amazing to hear though, what messages you guys are getting. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really Zane has done this once or twice, and so he's pretty good at communicating too. So it's not new to him, which is helpful. I have I don't want to say often, but frequently I have pets go, so do you read minds?
Oh,
Don't
wow.
read minds. You have to tell me what you want me to know. So it's nice when they've had some experience because they're a little bit more comfortable with it.
Fascinating.
Did anybody here happen to see any water, bucket of water?
No.
Okay, so I caught bucket of water. So I'm not sure if he wanted it. I saw a clean bucket of water I got the impression that it was that he likes his water at home and that it's different when you go other places. So maybe consider bringing some water that you can then mix together so he can get some of that as he's getting adjusted to the new water. So I did catch that when I was asking if there was anything that you could do that he misses from home.
Good.
And then otherwise, yeah, he was just showing me going in a trailer and he's like, we've been doing this a lot.
Yeah. And he's getting better, but it's hard to get him in there.
Yeah, because he doesn't have, he's like, do you have a slant load?
Yes.
Yeah, because he was showing me that he was sideways
Mhm.
and kind of, yeah, and kind of movement and
Yes.
stuff that's happening in there. So,
Yes.
they do have some things that I'm just going to check with Zane and see if he wants something. They do have some supplements you can give ahead of time that can just help him calm and relax him a little bit.
I do. But I give it's 1 scoop per day, but I give it half in the morning and half at night when we're camping. And about a week or so before, he gets the 1 scoop in the morning. So it's quiet 2 or something like that. But I didn't know if it would be less effective if I gave it to him half in the AM and half in the PM, and I should just give it to him in the AM.
I think so, because he asked for it, right? He was like, there's something that you can give me. So, and maybe he needs an increase in that during those times, just so
I don't give it to him at the barn. I just give it to him. Okay.
Yeah, right. So
So
maybe
I'm sorry, go ahead.
he's saying maybe try and increase that, or maybe try something with that's a little different, or maybe combine it with something else.
Maybe alfalfa. That's supposed to calm him down. No, it's not. Yeah, he's fine with alfalfa. That was for his tummy.
Yeah, the tummy, that helps the tummy. Yeah, I think more no, it's not the tummy, it's
yeah,
kind of the mind. Yeah, he wants it to be, he doesn't want to feel drugged up at all, but he does want to just kind of get the edge off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think the quiet too, whatever, maybe there's something different that you could try. That would
I was on platinum, whatever it's called, and I saw no difference in him. So then I changed to the quiet to just this last camping trip, but I'll do some more research.
So maybe the quiet will be, because like we could give that a try. So it's okay. So that was a recent change.
Yes.
Okay.
Just, it sounds like just don't worry about the PM and give it to him all in the AM because we go riding. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course. Thank you, Zane. He's such a
Thank
sweetheart.
you, love.
So pretty.
Yes, he is. And you'll be talking to him soon.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so now we're going to take a minute to connect with Babe. So Babe is a yellow nape Amazon. And his owner is Mike, who I will unmute here. Unmute. Try and unmute. Ask to unmute. I'm going to ask him to unmute. Okay. So Babe is, there he is. Okay. Hi. So Babe is a yellow naped Amazon. I think Mike's had him now for 6 months or so. Is that about right?
Right.
Okay. You can see that he's got another bird in the cage with him. That's a female. So Babe is a male. That's a female. And so they now cohabitate. And so I'm gonna take some time here. We're gonna connect with Babe and see if Babe has any information about what it's like at his new home. See if he's got any requests and any information he'd like to share. Okay, so so I'm just going to take a minute to connect with Babe. And I'm just going to take a second and ask Babe, so how are things at your new home? It's just been about 6 months, and so things are still new. So is there something that you would like? Is there anything that you'd like to have changed, added, removed? Okay. Interesting. Is there any information you want to share with Mike? Your person? Okay. Interesting. All right. Okay. So when you're done, if you had a chance to connect with Babe, when you're done, go ahead and open your eyes and you can start to chat a little bit about Babe. Okay. So I'm just going to ask, did Babe provide any information to any of you guys? All right. All right, Debbie, go ahead.
Well, he started shaking his head. And I said, what is it? And he goes, I need space. And I was like just general space. What kind of space? He says, I need space. And that's all I could get was
Yep.
I need space. I tried to figure out why, like whether it was with the other bird in the cage or whatnot, but he needs space.
Yep.
So whatever that is.
Yep. Yeah, so he told me, Debbie, he said, I need a bigger cage. Yep. He said, I need a bigger cage. And I don't, and then he said, or take some of these toys out, but I don't want you to take some, I need a bigger cage. Yeah. So I got the same thing, space. He needs more space. Yeah. Anything else come up? Yeah, go ahead, Wendy.
I am on the same note as y'all are. I wrote down he'd like to get out of his cage and fly around more. And then he's a curious bird. And I also got down that he's happy and being treated well.
Did he what?
He's happy and he's being treated well.
Okay.
He just wants out of his cage.
Okay. How about you, Jennifer?
You know, the only thing that I picked up on was at first it was either window or light, but then it almost seemed like it was like a cover, like maybe more of a privacy, darker
Yep.
space.
That he was asking for?
I think so.
Yes. So the other piece of information I got is it's too noisy. So I happen to know that they do have a space where they can go outside. It's a larger space, but there's too much noise. out there for him to be able to relax and enjoy. So, very cool. All right, anything else that he shared that we didn't catch? No? No, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you so much for taking time to communicate with Babe as well. And it's just, I just think it's super cool that we get similar information. Yeah, you can't make that stuff up. I think it's really cool that they'll share and tell us what they need to do. I know that I had, let's see. So we're at the top of the hour. However, let me just check something here really quick. So Jennifer, you sent me some pictures of Oliver, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys want to take a second and see if we can connect with Oliver? Sorry, I can't see if your heads are shaking yes or no because they were covered up. Would you guys like to do that?
I got a thumbs up from
Okay.
Vicky.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to share a different, stop sharing. And let me just set this up so I can. Share. And share. All right, how's that?
Mhm.
Are you able to see him?
I see him. Yeah.
I can't see my screen now. Hold on a second. Hold on. Show meeting. There we go. Let me move that.
Yeah. I see the picture on the paddleboard.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So can I share your message, Jen?
Yes.
Okay. That you sent. So wants to know if, do some foods cause him digestive issues? And then what would he prefer? And then are there specific places or activities that makes him more stressed, calm, or happy? And so food and activity. So here's an activity. There is a nice picture of Oliver looking up. And then, wow. So so let's go ahead and connect with Oliver, and then I'll share with the information that I've got so far. So so cute. So cute. So Oliver, so you heard the questions that Mom had for me. And so there's foods that, yes, there's foods that so do you, sorry, so he's coming to me with message like information. So share with me, is it food that you don't like or food that you like? Okay. So first of all, showing me the don't likes. Okay. So it's more important that he share with you what he doesn't like than what he likes right now. Okay. And it causes, okay. Oh, that, yeah, okay. Okay. Um, is there anything more that you want to share about the food that you like, maybe? Okay. All right. Mm. And then Oliver, you want to share about your activities? Things that you'd like to do? Maybe things that make you feel a little bit more stressed? Right. Okay. All right. Um. Okay. Anybody want to share with any information? Yep, go ahead, Debbie.
I picked up that he doesn't like wet stuff to eat. And water makes him nervous. Those were the two things I picked up.
Yep.
And I saw the pictures of the food that looked kind of mushy. So,
Yep.
bunny tummy kind of thing. So,
Yep.
but the water makes him nervous.
Yeah. Right, Wendy, anything that you'd like to share?
Um, I got that he'd like his food warmer instead of cold. Just a little room temperature or whatever, but not, yeah. Just play fetch, but I saw a stick that you throw and he, yeah.
I have something on that stick too. Yes. Okay. Yep. All right. So here's what I got. It was a lot of information. Like he was really good about this, like boom, boom, boom. So the first thing I saw was like this can of food. And I was like, you show me the foods that you don't like versus ones that you like. And he does not like tuna. Do you ever feed him tuna?
I do.
Doesn't like tuna.
Doesn't like tuna?
It makes him sick because he eats it, right?
He
But
does.
it gives him digestion.
Okay.
It makes his stomach hurt. So maybe if, maybe if you fed it to him with something else along with it that would help his system to digest it. But it does make his stomach upset. He showed me
Okay.
tuna. Yeah.
Okay. No tuna then. No tuna. We can take that away.
Or maybe not as often or just a little bit if he likes the taste, but it makes his stomach sick. Yeah. Did you happen to give that to him tonight?
I gave him some earlier today. Mhm.
Yeah. So when we knew that we were going to connect, my stomach started to hurt. And then I was like, oh, so he's like, yeah, it hurts his stomach. On the stick thing, I got a stick as well. The stick that I got was like bully bones or like bones, like, 9 that you can chew on.
Yeah.
And so does he fetch sticks or does he get bones that he can chew on?
I mean, just little treats, like little jerky sticks or something, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he thinks that there's some sticks that have like probiotics or tummy kind of medicine in them that he can eat that'll help with his digestion, and that he could have those like in the middle of the day before dinner when he's hungry. And that would allow his stomach to kind of prepare for that. So not a vet, I'm not at right. Do some research, see if there's some things that that sits with you, right? But he actually showed me a bone like that long. Does that kind of make sense too? Was it Debbie or you, Wendy, that saw a stick?
Wendy.
One of you
It
guys
was
saw
me. I was trying to weigh that. It was Wendy.
Okay, yeah, you saw a stick. So I clearly got this stick, and it was like I want to chew on that, and it'll help my stomach, and help to relieve that. I also, Debbie, got that he's nervous on water, and but that he wants to do it to please you because he gets to be with you, Jennifer. So he's like, I'm brave, but yeah, I mean, my palms are getting sweaty now thinking about it. He's like, but he gets nervous about it.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
So he's brave, but yeah. And he knows if he ends up in the water that he'll be able to swim, but it's cold water. The water's cold, and it's just not his favorite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the last time I went, I didn't take him.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's just a better option.
Yeah, like every now and again, he might want to, but yeah, it's just not his favorite. He would do it for you. Hiking, favorite. Like, I got this, I can go and explore, and I can, or camping or any outdoorsy thing. He's got a lot of confidence. Do you find, and he's saying that he does well even when he runs across other pets and stuff on the trail or whatever.
You know, he is funny. I mean, he always acts like he wants to interact, but then when it comes right to it, then he's all skittish.
Right, because he likes to act brave, but then yeah. So, but he says he thinks he's behaved when he's on a leash and when he runs into dogs and stuff on a trail. He's showing me he's well behaved at that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing is the picture in the middle. Do you recall when you took that picture, what kind of activity or event you guys had just finished?
I don't know. I don't know if I was upstairs like getting ready or something. I mean, it was just so unusual to find him there in the middle of the stairway, sprawled out on a step. It was so unusual.
So he was telling you that he didn't want to do what he either didn't like. What I heard specifically was, I didn't like that activity associated with this picture. So I don't know what you were getting ready for, or if you can kind of go back, but he was at that point telling you like, I don't like that.
I'll have to go back and look on the date of that picture and see like what was happening at that time.
Yeah, take a look and see. That would be interesting to find out. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's like, really? Just the what I'm reading from him in that was like, do we really have to do this? Like, is this really necessary?
Was there anything else about stairs? Because I've been carrying him up and down. We have a ton of stairs everywhere. Front, back, inside, outside, stairs everywhere. And he had kind of a disc injury recently, and I've since been carrying him up and down the stairs a lot.
Okay.
But lately he's been kind of doing some more stairs again.
Okay. So so what just came to me was yeah, and here we are talking about energy modalities, and we were talking about body work, and we were talking about different things that you could do to support that. And this would make sense that I've been having I have some tightness around my right, like the right shoulder blade neck area. I'm guessing that he was using probably his front end to pull him up more. So he's not able to use his hind end as much. So I would, whatever you can do to support that, the front end, particularly on the right side, he's right-handed. Yeah. So he'll lead with like that, takes on the most. So yeah, whatever you can do to support that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming Saturday, so I'm looking
Oh,
forward to
yay. Yeah, there you go, right? Yay. Very cool.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good information. Thank you for sharing.
Good. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Oliver, for stepping in and saying you're ready to have a conversation. I love that.
Oliver.
So thank you. Thank you, sir. We had all boys today.
Yes.
We did. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, as always, I hope you found this helpful, and take with you whatever serves you and leave whatever doesn't behind. And this recording will be available on my YouTube channel, and the link is available on my website. So you're welcome to revisit. Any questions, let me know. I showed you a couple of books. Anything, just, yeah, I love hearing from you guys, and happy to share whatever comes up. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.